Maintaining for me, I've got to my target weight in December 2019 when I had my last photo shoot at UFIT Studio. And then soon after that, 2 months later, went into lockdown. So I took the oil out and they'll just be like, can you taste anything different? And they were like, no. So for me, that was a big... So basically, if I'm cooking a vegetable curry, it is just vegetables. I don't even put a spoon into a teaspoon. I don't put any oil in.
Okay.
I cook my curries with that. So that for me was a big game changer. 2018, I went back into hospital and I had complications with my tummy, and the doctors had to cut me open and had a major laparotomy. So I had 10 operations and my abs were split and they stitched everything back, and I've got wires coming all the way.
Okay.
And the doctors are like, you need to be careful what you do with your abs. They said,
Yep.
you've got really strong abs. They were in the wrong place. And they said to me, what have you been doing? I said, well, I've been training at this new gym I've go to. And they're like, well, what have you doing? It's really well. So they needed to put everything back. And then they have. And now I've got, Helen took some pictures of me last week. And she goes, Bally, you've got abs. I was like, yeah. With all the training.
Welcome to Real People, Real Results, Real Change, the podcast that's dedicated to helping real people develop real health and fitness in their lives. Real people like you, business owners, professionals, house husbands and housewives, and students. I'm Stefan, I'm a personal wellness coach at UFIT Studio, and I'll be your host. In this episode, I'm talking again with Bally Sarai, a retired teacher whose focus in life is to look after her health and that of her family's health. In this episode, we discuss a wealth of tips and advice on growing your health, your fitness, and a supportive mindset. Okay, so I'm so pleased to be back talking with you, Bally, and what we're going to talk about this episode, I hope, is more of the detail about You've been on a journey from quite severe illness through to a good level of health and fitness. And I'd like to kind of find out more about like the here and now.
Yes.
And what sort of things you do in terms of fitness, in terms of food, in terms of mindset that really keep you. It's not like you're on a level, right? You're constantly pushing yourself as well, anyway. But your health and fitness is in a good place now, and I'd love to kind of find out more about what supports that.
Okay. Like we mentioned in the last podcast, I've lost 5 stones. So I'm at my maintenance. I've been maintaining now.
Well done.
So thank you. Maintaining is actually harder for me than actually losing the weight, because then you have a goal, don't you?
Yes.
And so I think, Helen would say, you need to lose a couple of, half a pound, 1 pound, 1 pound a week or whatever, and then I could focus on that. But maintaining is like how much can I eat? Without putting weight on, then you put that little bit of pound on, they've got to try and lose it.
Yes.
So maintaining for me, I've got to my target weight in December 2019 when I had my last photo shoot at UFIT Studio. And then soon after that, 2 months later, went into lockdown.
Right, of course.
Yeah, so we went straight after, got to target, and then it was lockdown. So, but for me, I think because I'm a member at the UFIT Studio, and then my son joined, and then my daughter joined, and my husband's quite fit anyway, but because of the whole family, and my daughter-in-law's there now as well.
Right.
For us, food-wise, I think we're all eating the same food, and we're all at the same gym.
Okay.
We're eating the same, we've got the same plans, similar taste. So for us, cooking is easy. Because we're all eating the same healthy foods. I think for me, the biggest change for me, health-wise, in terms of cooking, was I was cooking my Indian food without any oil. So I just cut out oil from my Indian. I was putting in quite a bit. I didn't realize how much I was putting in.
Okay.
Like that, about a quarter of a cup of oil in a curry.
Right.
And I just took it out. I just took the oil out. My family, to be honest, didn't even notice.
Really?
So I took the oil out, and they'll just be like, can you taste anything different? And they were like, no. So for me, that was a big... So basically, if I'm cooking a vegetable curry, it is just vegetables. I don't even put a spoon into a teaspoon. I don't put any oil in.
Okay.
I cook my curries with that. So that for me was a big game changer, because we like to eat curries and chicken and things like that, but I started cooking that without any oil. So for in terms of food, we do eat dinners. We've got the booklets. There's so much out there, isn't there now, on Instagram with like with Danny's.
Yeah.
Her Instagram post has come up as well. So yeah. So food wise, I think I'm okay. My biggest hurdle, as you know, Stefan, was my sweets, my cakes, chocolates, and biscuits.
Right.
And I came to see you. I think it was about this time last year.
Oh yes, I think
Yeah,
so.
it was about this time last year I came to see you. Saying, Stefan, I want to cut back on my cakes, chocolates, and biscuits, and I'm an all or nothing person. So I said, I just want to completely cut them out, and I did.
Yeah.
And it was because my cholesterol was high.
Yes.
Well, my cholesterol was very high. So in terms of health, even though my weight has gone down, my cholesterol was way too high. And I think it's a family hereditary. They've done some tests and it's a family hereditary, but they weren't sure at the time. They said, try and get your cholesterol down, otherwise you'll have to go on statins.
Yeah.
And so I tried, didn't I? And I had a meeting with you, and I'm not sure exactly what it was we did.
Right.
But you supported me through it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have cakes and chocolates for about 5 or 6 months. I went back to get my cholesterol checked, and my cholesterol had actually gone higher.
Yeah.
It increased. So then at that point, I knew it wasn't anything I was eating.
Yes.
I think it was just a hereditary.
Yes.
But, going back to my sweet treats, because I do like my sweet treats. I've got a very sweet tooth. Since then, I have cut down drastically. After I came to see you, we had the chat, and I don't have as many. I'll have it as a treat now and again, but that's it.
Yeah.
So that's changed.
Yes.
So as well as cutting out the oil from my cooking, I've also now having a lot less cakes, chocolates and biscuits.
And so was that, what oil was that were you using originally?
It was just like vegetable oil.
So how do you cook without the
So
oil?
I cook in water. I put my onions in first, and I put extra water in, and I let my onions just like sort of like dissolve in the water.
Right, amazing.
So yeah, you don't need.
So simple.
Yeah, it's just so simple. And if I'm cooking like eggs and things like that, before I would put a little bit of oil in the pan. I don't do that now. You get a non-stick pan, or you can spray a little bit of, is it Fry Light?
Okay.
Just,
yes.
Now and again I just use that. But yeah, I can cook now without oil. And so my oil from my food, not as much cakes and sweets and biscuits, and obviously I'm walking a lot now. I do my steps.
Yeah.
So with all of that, I've maintained my weight.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, I think I've been on about 6 or 7 holidays this year. So that was a bit tricky. So I think I put on a couple of kilos, and now I'm just getting that weight back down to where it should be, which is manageable for me.
Yeah.
So I think with all of that, but I think you need to be in the right mindset as well. For me, I think, we talk about health. We always talk about my weight and exercise, but I think it's the mental well-being as well.
Okay.
And this is something I just picked up from Sam. He just plays some happy music, and then my kids always say, "Mum's always playing that music around the house." I get up in the morning, I do my prayers, and I just put music on, and that just makes me happy.
Okay.
Yeah, it just you feel like just lifts the mood, doesn't it? And then in the mornings I try and get out. Early in the morning, I'd try and get out as soon as I go for a walk.
Yeah.
A bit of fresh air.
Yeah.
Going out in nature. I think that really helps as well.
Yeah.
And I understand for me it's different because I've retired, and I don't have all the responsibilities of young children and work.
Yeah.
But even if you could just get out for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just get out for 15 minutes and do your gratitude, things like that. That makes a difference. And I was listening to a podcast recently, I don't know if Mo Gawdat.
Okay.
And he was talking about, gratitude, so much that we have to be grateful for. For me, that is really important. So, in terms of food and exercise, and, you know how much I exercise. I've trained most days, trying to do 20, 25,000 steps a day. If I can, like Sunday, I did 10,000. Didn't fancy it, so I just had 10,000 is like a rest day. But yeah, and So, yeah, I keep myself busy. Even though I've retired, I do keep myself busy.
Yeah. Okay. So, and in terms of your like the makeup of your food, has that changed over time? Like what you eat?
Yeah, I think, yeah, definitely. I have 2 meals. So whereas before I'd have breakfast, I'd have toast with jam on and things like that kind of breakfast, and then I'd have a lunch. Basically, I just ate what I fancied before.
Okay.
Sandwiches and crisps and chocolates for lunch probably.
Okay.
And the evening it would be like chips and, things would be fried,
Yeah.
fried foods and healthy, and, we'd had a lot of takeaways as well.
Yeah.
So we keep takeaways to once a week on a Friday. So we do have treats, we do
regularly.
have a takeaway on a Friday. And my meals, I have 2 meals. So I'll have like an omelette and some toast, but I don't put butter on my toast. I have a lot more greens, salads, vegetables. And in the evenings we'll have steamed fish. I didn't used to eat fish. I didn't like fish. I still don't like to cook fish, but my husband will cook the fish.
Right.
But I will eat it. I don't like to cook it, but I will eat it. Salmon. So we have grilled fish and more vegetables. So, yeah, the makeup of what we eat now is very different. And then when we go to my sons, Balaraji's and Kiran's, when we go there, we have healthy meals there. Kiran loves to cook.
Okay.
So she follows a lot of the UFit recipes, a lot of Danny's recipes.
Yeah.
And she's very creative with her food as well.
Cool.
So,
That helps.
Yeah, she's very creative. So yeah, so we have a lot of different types of food, Indian food as well as all different types of English food, Mexican food, Chinese food. We eat everything.
Yeah.
But without the oil. Try and cook without the oil.
Okay. And then in terms of, so obviously you get a lot of steps in every day, but you train regularly.
Yeah.
Some of that is strength training.
Yes.
How do you find that? Because some people find that quite intimidating because that's a lot of free weights that you do. Is that
Yes.
right?
I think when I first joined the gym, this gym, UFit Studio, when I first joined, for me, first thing I said to Sam was, Sam, if you can get me to come to the gym, that's what I want to do. I said, and people go to the gym. At that time, my son was going to the gym. My husband used to train a lot. I said, they love going to the gym. I said, I absolutely hate it. I just don't want to go to the gym. I make excuses not to go to the gym. And I said, if you can get me to come in 3 times a week, that's your job done. If you can get me to come. Yeah, so the weight and things is separate, but I said, if you can. And I think the first time I went, I was a bit worried because I think people around me probably, they're all very experienced. They sort of knew what they were doing.
Okay.
But the thing about going to, this gym is that they're very supportive. You have got a lot of free weights. You've got a lot of machines that I've never seen before. It's different to the other gyms I've been to.
Right.
As in, there are a lot of free weights here, but there's a lot more machines.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot more machines that that you can just sit on, and you pull this and you do that. Here it's very much more body weight and free weights, and that's something I never had before. I've never trained in this way before, so it was a bit intimidating. But then the coaches are there. You have your program, and then have the videos there. So everything is there. You can look at the video, click on a button there on the app, and it shows you exactly what you need to do.
Right.
And the coaches are there, and the members are all there as well. So now I'm not intimidated. If I've had a break for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I'm coming back, then you always feel a little bit like I sometimes forget what to do. But as soon as you've gone back in a couple of days, you're back into the training. Yeah. But my strength is really increased.
I was going to say, do you notice day to day?
I can notice, first of all, physically, my body shape has really changed, and I've got more toned muscles and I'm more defined. But what I'm lifting, whereas when I first joined, I was just that, obviously from that half a kg, with, I've got up to about, I can do 10 kgs now.
Okay.
So there's a big increase in the last few years.
Yeah.
And every week I'm pushing myself. With the coaches are pushing me higher. I can do press-ups. I can't do chin-ups yet. I can do push-ups and things like that now as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, my legs and my arms are definitely stronger than they were.
Yeah.
Oh, and my abs. I had a lot of operations for about 2018. I went back into hospital and I had complications with my tummy, and the doctors had to cut me open and had a major laparotomy. So I had 10 operations, and my abs were split and they stitched everything back, and I've got wires coming all the way.
Okay.
And the doctors are like, you need to be careful
Yeah.
what you do with your abs. They said,
Yep.
you've got really strong abs. They were in the wrong place. And they said to me, what have you been doing? And I said, well, I've been training at this new gym I've go to. And they're like, well, what have you doing? It's really well. So they needed to put everything back. And then they have. And now I've got, Helen took some pictures of me last week. And she goes, Bally, you've got abs. I was like, yeah. With all the training.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's continuous though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You keep going.
Yeah.
And small steps. It's just all small steps.
Yeah.
Small steps. So if anyone is thinking of, going on a fitness journey, just give yourself small goals, and when you reach that, then set yourself a new goal and then a new goal. And that's where coaches come in, because they know us and they work with us, and they can help us set those goals, and then make sure that we get to those targets as well.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So just to finish off, I guess, like any last sort of inspiring words, like what's, I don't know, like what are some takeaway tips or what's inspired you most? Like what's
inspired me?
Yeah.
I want to live a long life. I want to live a long life. And the doctors turn around and say to you that, that you shouldn't even be here. And when I've suffered, how much I've suffered, I want to live a long life. I want to be there for my children. I want to see my grandchildren. I want to enjoy my life now. I live every day. I want to have a meaningful life. I want to help other people, but at the same time, I want to, want them to be happy. But I want to live a happy life, and make those happy around me. So if I can do that, that's what I live for now. Is just that, to stay healthy and help others to be healthy as well.
Okay, wonderful, just wonderful. Okay. Thank you so much, Bally. It's an absolute privilege listening to you.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Stefan.
Hopefully we can do this again soon.
Definitely. Thank you.